Survive and advance is the name of the game at this part of the season. The Tuscarora Huskies in the Dulles District semifinals welcome in the Broad Run Spartans. Welcome in, folks. I'm Aiden Butler. Joined alongside me, Ronan Haycoop and Sean Pambuki. And fellas, should be a going on tap tonight.
Definitely, Aiden. And just not too long ago, on the 17th of this month, these same two teams faced off at this very same ballpark. Tuscarora scraped tooth and nail to a 2-1 victory. And that's kind of been the tale of these seasons for both of these teams, is scraping away wins. The Tuscarora Huskies coming off a 2-0 win, the Loudoun County Captains in the first round of the Dulles District playoffs. Similarly, the Broad Run Spartans coming off a 1-0 extra innings victory over the Light Ridge Lightning in their first round matchup. So that's kind of been how both of these teams have set up. Both of these teams, win or go home today, they will face the winner of either Heritage or Dominion in that district championship on Friday. And Sean, you had a sit-down interview with Coach Myers. Talk it over a little bit. Tell us from a Broad Run perspective what they are trying to accomplish here at Tuscarora High School today.
So not only just this game, but over the season, they've just been trying to take it a game at a time, getting their feet wet, and they have really – Coach Meyer had to say that there's nothing new in their game plan coming up against Tuscarora, just trying to be consistent with the practicing and fundamentals. And they know Tuscarora is going to be prepared, and they are talented and experienced, but they want to play fundamentally sound baseball and take things one pitch at a time.
As we get set to go here, Cole Keel has the high ground for Tuscarora to start this one off. Leading off for the Broad Run Spartans, number 20, Mitchell Young, the center fielder. Going to be batting right-handed to start here. Both teams rocking the black today. White digits for Tuscarora, blue script, white pants. First pitch is away, gets the far edge of the plate. Called strike one, and an 0-1 count in the early going for Mitchell Young. The Spartans adorn gray pants, black jerseys, white numerals, and yellow script. Here's the windup and the delivery. That pitch sails off the plate. Count even, 1 ball, 1 strike. Tuscarora 17-3 coming into this one, 11-3 in district play. They're second in the Dulles District, as the 1-1 fastball is going to be flared out into deep left center, and back to make the play, the left fielder, Michael Kozakowski, and just like that, 1 out down.
And this is going to be key for Tuscarora, is going to be this start, Aiden. In their last matchup, May 17th matchup between these two teams, Cole Keel gave up his only run, the only run that the Broad Run Spartans scored in the top of the first inning. Tuscarora Huskies gave up a significant amount of hits in those first 3, so getting off to a hot start for Cole Keel is going to be key for the Tuscarora Huskies tonight.
Finley Sullivan, the designated hitter, as that pitch sails down and away from Sullivan, batting left-handed, number 27. Little apprehension whether it would be him or the catcher, Evan McLaughlin, in that 2 spot, as that ball is driven into shallow right, and coming up, jogging up to make the play, Nick Sheehan, the right fielder, and 2 outs down, both via the flyout.
And that's something you're not necessarily loving to see at the top of this first inning from the Broad Run Spartans. 2 good contact shots off the bats against Cole Keel, and you just got to think, Aiden, Cole Keel's a guy who gets a lot of ground outs, a lot of contact, makes his defense work, and if the Broad Run Spartans have him timed up early, could prove dangerous for the Tuscarora Huskies.
As the fastball delivery from Keel right down Main Street for strike 1, and 0-1 count now. For the first baseman, Andrew Market, batting right-handed as well, same pitch, but just off the plate. Right at the waist of Market, but again, just off the plate away from him. Counts 1-1. Keel kicks, delivers. That ball eaten by the dirt. And for a rare occasion, we have a Spartan hitter ahead in the count in the early going, 2-1.
And we were wondering if Andrew Market was going to pitch today. The JMU commit hasn't thrown all year, Aiden. Obviously not going to be throwing in this one, still with that shoulder injury, and obviously not trying to risk his commitment moving forward.
As the breaking ball is up and in for a 3-1 count now. Something of a hitter's count for Market. The 3-1 is called strike 2. Nope, they will say he got the walk. Interesting signal by the official. Oh no, they do say strike 2, just up in the zone, barely. and the count is full.
Marquette bat flipped it all the way back to the Broad Run dugout and had to go and pick it up towards that tee of Tuscarora up the first baseline.
Payoff pitch, 3-2, and no doubt about that one. So Andrew Market with a 2-out walk, and the Spartans have their first base runner on today.
And definitely not a bad base to give up if you're Cole Keel in the 3-1 count, working it back, obviously, with the walk. But late in that last matchup, I keep bringing it up because it was such a tough game for both teams. Actually walked Andrew Market in the bottom of the 7th inning, putting the go-ahead run on first base. Ended up proving for the Tuscarora Huskies to get out of that jam with Bauer Burkhardt on the mound.
As a wave and a miss by John Ryan, the first pitch he's offered today, number 1 for the Spartans. Second baseman today, batting left-handed. He's down in the count. No balls, 1 strike. That one right at his feet, down and in. 1 ball, 1 strike for number 1. Runner on at first is Andrew Market. 2 outs down here in the top of the first between Tuscarora and Broad Run. Keel, check up to first, nowhere in time, diving back on. Going to have to put those pants through the laundry tonight is Andrew Market, as he is safe. Still a 1-1 count for John Ryan. Broad Run, they come into this one 10-7, 8-6 in conference play as a breaking ball off the plate away from Ryan, down and away, and a 2-1 count. Again, 8-6 in Dulles District play, they're 3rd in the district, led by head coach Thomas Meyer. Keel gets the word from Kelman, the catcher. Another checkup attempt coming to first, but not in time. And you think about that pitch, it's a lot easier to sell for a right-handed pitcher. You've got those left-handed guys, you can tell from a mile away if they're gonna keep you honest or not. 2-1 count is well off the plate for a 3-1 count, and now a chance to potentially put 2 base runners on for the Spartans in the early going here. It was 2 quick outs for Tuscarora as Sullivan and Young both went down via the flyout. 3-1 and easily a 4-1, no doubt about it. Same pitch, same result for ball 4 as that pushes Andrew Market into scoring position at second, and Ryan takes his place at first.
And bouncing off what Ronan said earlier about how we saw Cole do this last game earlier on and then seal the deal later on, it's a little bit more of a matter of time to let Cole get hot and warm up. And as soon as he does that, it's very hard to stop him.
Pete McConnell, the shortstop, finds himself in the batter box now. First offering from Keel is there, strike 1. It's been that fastball that Keel has favored so far, and what has gotten the job done, either getting strikes or forcing soft contact. 0-1 count to McConnell, as Keel will step off to check on Market at second. 2 runners on, 2 outs. Scoreless here in the top of the first, 0-1 count to Pete McConnell. Keel, here comes the windup, the pitch, as that one's going to be flared off foul up and to the right. And an 0-2 count, and now a chance for Keel to get out of the top of the first.
And getting out of these innings quickly is going to be a big hope for Cole Keel moving into the later stages of this game. Needs to get 4 to 5 innings through in this one. Bauer Burkhardt, obviously, in the bullpen for the Tuscarora Huskies, probably their best guy out of the bullpen coming in to close. He's pitching with an ERA just above 1. Opposing batting average is down at 156. So Bauer Burkhardt's been great. That 1-2 combo of Keel and Burkhardt has proved excellent for the Tuscarora Huskies this season, and that's what they're going to have to rely on. But if Cole Keel gets into trouble early, going deep in that bullpen in the late stages of the game could be dangerous.
As Keel and Kelman had a brief discussion, the 0-2 is going to be grounded, scooped at third, throw to first is in time. Cross diamond delivery from Quill to McIntosh, and the early threat subsides. Scoreless after the top of the first. No hits, no errors for Broad Run. Got 2 men on with the walk, but Cole Keel sets them down. And we are back to Tuscarora High School for the home side of the first. Leading off for the Tuscarora Huskies, number 5, Bauer Burkhart, the shortstop for Tuscarora. Be batting right-handed. He will face off against Kyle Reiner, who has the nod on the mound for Broad Run today. Burkhart stands ready. Curveball. Finds the zone. Strike 1, the call.
And the Tuscarora Huskies saw Reiner in that May 17th matchup. Same pitching, same lineup for the Tuscarora Huskies. And obviously they came away with the victory there. Left 7 runners in scoring position in that contest, Aiden. So for the Tuscarora Huskies offense, it's going to be key of driving those runs in the early, mid, and late stages of this game.
Same pitch, same result. So an 0-2 count for Burkhart in the early going. The 0-2 eats the dirt and rolls off to the right to give ball 1 to Burkhart. 1 ball, 2 strikes now.
And Reiner didn't pitch far into that last game that these two teams faced. Reiner didn't have good control of his fastball, losing it both far, up, down, name a place.
As that 1-2, a chopper that's fielded at third, cross diamond throw, not in time. So a leadoff single for Bauer Burkhart. Roman Kirk had a play on the ball, a hopper down the left field line, but the throw just a tad late.
Great defense, just better offense for Bauer Burkhart, showing off those wheels, and the Marshall commit doing what he does so well for the Tuscarora Huskies, and that is getting on base.
Next man up, Connor Keel, the pitcher for Tuscarora. Cole Keel, my bad. As a checkup attempt comes to first, but nowhere in time. Cole Keel batting right-handed as well. Here comes the windup, the pitch. Another curveball, and once you know it, another strike down and away in that part of the zone from Keel's perspective.
And I almost don't want to say this next stat, Aiden, to avoid the jinx, but Cole Keel has not struck out yet in conference play. To put that in perspective, conference play started all the way back at the end of spring break in April.
As Cole Keel lays down the bunt, can he beat out the throw? No! Rounding second is Burkhart, and he slides into third. Cole Keel decides to play small ball, and it pays off. Runners on the corners and no outs for Tuscarora.
And they've been doing that all year, just playing smart baseball, Aiden, on offense, not trying to hit it out of the fence, not trying to do too much with it. Just play smart, take the signs from their coach, and get it done.
Likely to go down as an error. And they will call it a hit. So the bunt single from Cole Keel. As that windup and pitches down and away, and Keel sprinting in easily, standing up at second. Give him a stolen base as well.
And that's another thing we saw last time these two teams played, is that Tuscarora had an absurd amount of stolen bases, and I'm wondering to see if they'll replicate that again today.
Braden Kelman, number 22, the Tuscarora catcher at the dish now. He's got a 1-0 count, and that's a big block by McLaughlin, the catcher for Broad Run. Without it, Burkhart may have the first run for Tuscarora today, so a 2-0 count now for Braden Kelman.
And that's what's so dangerous about the top of this Tuscarora order is they all get on base well, and they're all fast once they get on base.
As that ball nearly clipped the knees of Kelman, and he's got the hitter's count here, 3-0.
And funny enough, when I talked to Coach Meyer, I asked if there's anyone that on Tuscarora that he was looking out for. The 3 players he named were Cole Keel, Braden Kelman, and Bauer Burkhart. So, I mean, the game's speaking for itself.
As going back to the curveball and off the plate. And a 4-pitch walk by Kelman. And the Huskies have the bases locked and loaded here.
And this is where it comes down to it, Aiden. That's been the problem for the Tuscarora Huskies all year. Has been runners in scoring position, and now the top of this order for the Tuscarora Huskies getting on base to open this one up. Now they're going to have to rely on this second third of this order to get these runs in.
Cleanup man Isaac McIntosh looking to bring something across for Tuscarora early on. And you look at both these teams, it seems that as the first offering, a curveball in the bucket, strike 1. 0-1 count to McIntosh. The problem hasn't been getting guys on base, but it's been pushing them across.
Exactly. 16 runners in scoring position in the last 2 games for Tuscarora.
0-1 count, McIntosh. Another ball that gets off the plate into the opposing batter's box against the right-handed McIntosh. Mind you, it's Burkhart at third, Cole Keel again at second, and then Braden Kelman at first. As that one is inside, right at the waist of McIntosh, and it's called a 2-1. That's the last thing you want to do as a pitcher. Your first inning out is potentially give up the opening run on a bases-loaded walk. Be an easy RBI for McIntosh. That pitch finds the zone, and a 2-2 count right across the plate. You're kind of hoping McIntosh maybe takes a hack at it.
Yeah, in this situation, McIntosh has got to be aggressive around the plate. Obviously, you've got Quill and Domain, 2 good hitters in behind you. Got to try to take advantage of Reiner here.
A 2-2 comes to rest on the top shelf of the zone, and the count is now full.
And you could see Reiner not liking that call, and I might have to agree with them there, Aiden. That was a tough call for the ump to make in this stage of the game.
Payoff pitch in the early going for Reiner. He kicks, he delivers. That one's going to be grounded towards short. Played a second, is not in time. He didn't even make the throw. And that'll bring across the first run of the day. It's an RBI single off the bat of Isaac McIntosh. It was a grounder to the shortstop, Pete McConnell. He couldn't decide what he wanted to do with it.
And Aiden, honestly, that one just looked like the miscommunication between the shortstop and the second baseman. Second baseman, it was a double play opportunity right up the middle of the diamond. And it's the second baseman was late getting over, and it messed up Peter McConnell fielding it, this textbook, making the catch before it's actually there, and let that one go under the glove.
Next man up, Connor Quill, the third baseman. Takes the first pitch for strike one. Looks like they will call it an error on Pete McConnell for not pulling the trigger on the throw to second or first. So Burkhart comes across to score, Keel at third, Kelman at second, and McIntosh at first, as that one's going to be flared out into shallow right, and it's down. 1 run will score, and they'll put on the brakes for the man at third. So 2-0 in the early going Tuscarora, so Trip Bracken is going to be told to put on the brakes at third.
Number 3, Jimmy Domain.
RBI single for Connor Quill. Makes it an early 2-0 Tuscarora advantage, brings across Cole Keel.
And this is exactly the start you could have hoped for the Tuscarora Huskies, and that looks like it's going to be the end of Reiner's day on the mound, perhaps. And I wonder who they would go to here. We saw Mitchell Young, the center fielder, in the last outing when Reiner came out early, and I believe that is who is on the high ground right now for the Broad Run Spartans.
So Trip Bracken came into pinch run. Trip Bracken came into pinch run for Braden Kelman, so that's who they told to hold up at third. So it's Bracken now taking residence at third, McIntosh at second, and Quill at first.
And it looks like it's going to be the younger of the Youngs, no pun intended. Thomas Young, the right-handed pitcher, will come in relief of Reiner.
And that's a tough break either way you slice it or dice it, having to pull your starting pitcher after not even the first inning of work. So it's still a bases-loaded situation for Tuscarora. And no outs, so still plenty of damage to be done. Next man up in the order will be Jimmy Domingue, the center fielder for Tuscarora. And just as a pitcher, how do you approach these next few at-bats?
It's just a tough position to be in because now you're going up against a senior who's fighting to continue his athletic career. 327 on the year, batting average 441 on base. Jimmy Domain does an excellent job of getting on base in all 4 years of his high school career. And this one, no different. And in this situation, no outs, bases loaded. You got to think Jimmy Domain is going to find a way to get on base here.
Batting left-handed, Bracken sits at third, McIntosh at second, and Quill at first. And the new face on the mound for the Spartans, number 7, Thomas Young. Another right-handed pitcher. Kicks, fires. A sinking ball that does find the bottom of the zone, an 0-1 count. 2-0 Tuscarora, no outs, and the bases still fully loaded. As that one at the knees of Domingue, well off the plate, 1-1 count. Looking to add to this 2-0 Tuscarora advantage. Young kicks, fires, got the far side of the plate, strike 2.
And that's one you just need to have if you're Jimmy Domain. You can't be allowing those to get past you, especially without making an attempt on the ball.
Behind in the count, 1 ball, 2 strikes. As that one is golfed towards second. Play to short is in time, as is the play to first. A double play that still yields a run as Bracken comes across. And it is 3-0 Tuscarora, but a quick 2 outs.
And you were talking about what Thomas Young had to do to approach this at bat. That's about as perfect as you can get for Thomas Young. You're going to give up that run, but you might get out of this jam only giving up 1.
So a 4-6-3 double play by the Spartan defense. A much-needed double play, but Tuscarora still with the early 3-run lead. But you look at it and you just think not as bad as it potentially could be, as strike 1 is the call against number 4, Nick Sheehan, the right fielder. McIntosh, the runner at third for the Huskies, as that ball is going to be flared down the right base line. It's a foot race, and it dies in foul territory. Market and the right fielder Jackson Hulcher legging it out for broad run. Will go down to strike 2. 0-2 count, 2 outs, 3-0 Tuscarora in the bottom of the first.
And Sheehan's just got to do his best job to protect the plate, try to force this one opposite field to get McIntosh a chance to cross the plate. Excuse me. And for the Tuscarora Huskies, you haven't been great at scoring with runners in scoring position. Now you're doing it. You want to take advantage of these scoring opportunities because they might not come later in this game.
Young wheels and deals a curveball that's going to be skied into shallow left. And a flash of the lever is made by Cooper Lee, and that will put an end to the first inning. Tuscarora, they strike first, and in a hurry. It's 3-0 after the first full inning. We welcome you back to action here. Tuscarora struck first in the first inning. 3-0 they lead it as Kyle Reiner, his rough day at the office to start, didn't even yield an out, but he will lead off. The top of the second, a chance to potentially make amends and spark something for the Spartans. Cole Keel Kicks, delivers, as that one at the knees of the catcher, Kelman, and a 1-0 count in the early going for Reiner.
And something about this matchup right now, what I'm seeing is, I know I keep bringing up the game on May 17th, but it's almost like the opposite.
As a roller down the first base line and a solo out made there by Isaac McIntosh, so a ground out from Reiner. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Sean, but...
Oh, good, but basically what I was saying is how it's kind of like the opposite of last game where your Huskies are coming into this game red hot, already up 3 runs on the Spartans, while on May 17th, on their senior night, we saw Broad Run take the lead, and it took a while for Tuscarora to get that plate sizzling and take that lead and win the game.
As a rainbowing curveball from Keel is down and away from batting right-handed Jackson Holcher, number 24, the right fielder. 1-0 count. Keel going quickly as that one is going to be lofted into deep left. He's going to get waved around first. He's bound for second. The throw will be nowhere close. Well off the plate as well. 1-out double for Jackson Holcher.
And it's almost deja vu from the last time we saw these two teams face off. Aiden, is Cole Keel gave up 3 hits down that left field line, making Kozakowski work for it in left field. And they just jump on that curveball, and he's got to get that working, got to be able to find the zone with it. Otherwise, the Broad Run Spartans are going to love that fastball.
1 out down, 1 runner on. It's Holcher at second. Cooper Lee, the left fielder, now on. Glove the ball that put away the end of the first. Shows bunt. Strike 1. As Keel dots the bottom corner of the zone. An 0-1 count for Cooper Lee. So the Spartans find themselves in the early hole, trying to dig themselves out of it. Keel winds up, fires. Lee shows bunt again, but that pitch sails too low. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. It's number 2 in black, blue, and white looks on. Checks on the man at second. He will throw back to second, and the throw's off the plate, but Holcher will stay put. Coming up to bail out his teammate was Jimmy Domingue from center field. Still 1 ball, 1 strike for Cooper Lee. Trying to eat into this 3-0 Tuscarora advantage. Cole Keel looks back to second again. Have to presume he'll pitch this time. He does, as that one's popped up and foul up and to the right. Be strike 2 for number 1 and 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. And similar to Tuscarora, the problem for Broad Run, it's not getting men on, it's getting them across.
Exactly. The Broad Run Spartans, it's been the exact same problems for both of these teams, and that's why their seasons have been so similar. I could talk back to what we were talking about pregame, Aiden, is both of these teams scraping away wins.
That 1-2 pitch is going to be lined into left center, coming around third, and in to score is Jackson Holcher. So an RBI single from Cooper Lee, and the Spartans get a much-needed response. It's now 3-1.
Well, almost took the words right out of my mouth there. Now I was about to say, just need to find a way to get it away from the center or outfielders. Excuse me. They've done a good job of hitting the ball out there, and just as I'm thinking of saying that, it happens right in front of us.
New score 3-1. On now in place of Roman Kirk, number 7, the new pitcher Thomas Young. First pitch is away, 1-0. Keel kicks, deals. Throw to second is going to be well off the plate as Lee, a successful theft of second.
And both of these dugouts love getting all gassed up. And both these teams talk a lot of trash to each other, both pre, post, and during the game, from what I've gathered talking to players. And this is a rivalry that's gone on. The Broad Run Spartans took out the Tuscarora Huskies sophomore year for these seniors, so all the way back in 2021. And you just got to think, that Broad Run team went on to win states. So if you're the Broad Run Spartans, the last time you won a state championship, you took out the Tuscarora Huskies in this same exact setting.
As the 2-0 delivery comes to rest on the top of the zone now, 3-0. Young shows bunt again, and that's going to be a 4-pitch walk for Thomas Young. 2 men on now for Broad Run and only 1 out in the top of the second. Back to the top of the order we go. It'll be Mitchell Young. He flew out to start the day's proceedings.
And the one thing I love about this district specifically is how competitive it is when you get to these top 4 teams. I mean, I'm looking at the bracket right now. I could see any of these teams winning the district easily.
And the Broad Run Spartans, the Heritage Pride, the Tuscarora Huskies, and the Dominion Titans, those 4 teams fighting into it. The Tuscarora Huskies have beat all of those teams. They're the only one that has swept the other 3. So for the Tuscarora Huskies, they feel that it is their district, falling to second at the end of the season. Won it last year, won the regular season, then went on to lose in the regional semifinals. But both of these teams feel that this is their district. The winner of this team is likely to take on Heritage, and Heritage pitching staff playing those 3 games is definitely dwindled out.
Mitchell Young will step into the box for his second time today. Keel in a tough spot. Started the inning with what he had done in the first, forcing the soft contact to yield the first out. Throw back to second. That one's going to be well off the plate. Domain coming up to save the day for Bauer Burkhardt yet again. It's not been a bad idea for Keel. It's just each time the throw has been off. As I was saying, he forced the soft contact to yield the first out of the second inning, but since then, a double, an RBI single, and a walk. Keel fires. Small ball yet again. Keel, throw to third is in time. Smart play by Keel to keep a runner off of third, and that brings about the second out.
That's one thing Keel does so well is field from his position. I've seen a few of those. The Tuscarora Huskies have done a great job of keeping those bunts away, not giving up hits off of them like the Tuscarora Huskies do such a great job of on offense.
So Young will reach on a fielder's choice. Lee tagged out at third, and Young is pushed into second. As a wave and a miss for Finley Sullivan, who's also 0 for 1 today, the designated hitter. That certainly changes the complexion of the inning now with 2 outs on and only 1 runner in scoring position. Keel glancing back to second again. Instead, he'll deliver as that one tipped off the end of the bat and into the backstop, and a chance to really get out of this one. An 0-2 count to Finley Sullivan. Lengthy at bat in between pitches. Keel's been liking to push the tempo so far. The 0-2 nearly wented Sullivan, but stayed true to yield ball 1. Be a 1-2 count to Sullivan now with 2 outs, 2 runners on.
And Keel definitely doesn't like throwing his curveball into the lefty Sullivan. Thrown 3 fastballs to start off this at bat. Interested to see what he's going to come away with to finish it off.
As that one is golfed into shallow right, and it gets down. Runner being waved around third. Throw to the plate was well off. Here comes a throw to second. There's 2 Broad Run Spartans. We've got a pickle on in the early going. Caught between a rock and a hard place, and he's tagged out. Mitchell Young got tied up with Finley Sullivan at second, and then it was just a rundown. Spartans do score a run, but the threat to tying it is averted. A wild sequence there. Let's recap it for a moment. Sullivan golfed that one into shallow right on the doorstep of the infield. It dropped. Runner got waved around third. Thomas Young got waved around from second base. Sullivan thought he had a double on his hands, runs all the way to second, but Mitchell Young, seeing the throw coming into the infield, tries to go back to second, and then there was a log jam.
Yeah, I mean, the throw from Jimmy Domain across wasn't in time, but it's still a good enough throw Braden Kelman, the catcher, caught it right there placed, about to make the throw to second, and you could even see the confusion in his body language as he saw two Broad Run Spartans right sitting at second base. He throws it across to the shortstop, and Bauer Burkhart runs from second to third, and the rundown makes the tag. Just a unfortunate sequence of events for the Broad Run Spartans. You think you're about to get the tie. Oh, we got the tying run at third base now. Let's go. And obviously some poor base running from the Spartans gives the Tuscarora Huskies that out here.
A wild inning to say the least as we head to the middle of the second. Tuscarora still nursing that one-run lead, 3-2. Let's go to the bottom of the second after, let's just call it an interesting conclusion to the top of it. Tuscarora with a 3-2 lead over the rival Spartans. Trying to push it back, Ashton Peschke, the designated hitter, on for Tuscarora as Thomas Young delivers for strike one and an 0-1 count.
And Peschke and Kozakowski, two sophomores batting in the 8 and 9 slots, respectively, for this Tuscarora team. The last 2 years have been pretty great, honestly, for the Tuscarora Huskies. Kozakowski put one over the fence just a few games ago and came up big against Broad Run. If my memory serves me correctly, did have that game-winning RBI in that 9 slot, and that's what's been the real spark for the Tuscarora Huskies offense is when Peschke and Kozakowski can get on base and their top of the order comes up already with base runners on.
So 2 straight balls from Young, a fastball that ate the dirt and then a breaking ball that flies well off the plate. An 0-1 count as Peschke now finds himself ahead 2-1. Peschke greets it with a swing. That one looks like it got ricocheted off, and it's called strike 2, foul to the doorstep of the Tuscarora dugout. 2-2 count, pardon me.
And he just missed that one, Aiden. You could just tell. Just came up underneath that one. High fastball. Wanted to pull that one down the first baseline. Did the lefty, but just not enough.
2-2 offering is chopped on and fouled off. This time the opposite direction to the in the direction of the Spartan dugout to our right. And this could be interesting depending on how each team's respective batters can kind of battle it out at the dish. 2-2 take 2 as that one's going to be popped up. Can anyone make a play on it right at the fence? And no, into the spectators line down left field, and Peschke stays alive. It's a great hustle by McLaughlin looking for any potential play on the ball, but just none to be made. Brief reminder, a 3-2 lead for Tuscarora. They jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the first. Spartans answered in kind with 2 runs of their own in the top of the second. 2-2 take 3, called strike 3 on the curveball.
And that's just a great pitch. You're showing Peschke that fastball the majority of the at-bat, Aiden. He's got it timed up, fouls 3 off in a row, and just when he's sitting on that fastball waiting, you throw the curveball, catch him looking off the far edge. Great at-bat for the pitcher.
As on steps Michael Kozakowski rounding out the bottom of the Tuscarora order, the left fielder, number 21. Batting right-handed, Young fires. Looks like he slipped a little coming off the mound. Down and away is the pitch and a 1-0 count.
And we were talking about earlier how big Kozakowski, along with Peschke, has been to this Tuscarora team, batting .346 on the year with an OBP of .452. When your 9-hole batter can do that, you're certainly going to score a lot of runs, and that's what the Tuscarora Huskies have benefited from.
As a falling fastball falls just before the zone, and a 1-1 count on for number 21. And Ronan, you talk about that. A lot of times, a lot of coaches, a lot of managers, they kind of look at that 9 spot as almost like a second leadoff hitter. Speaking of, it's a chopper towards McConnell at short. The throw is off the plate, not in time. and he is safe. The throw was to the left of the first baseman, Andrew Market, and he couldn't corral it. And so instead of out number 2, Tuscarora has a base runner on.
And that's McConnell's second error of this one. The first one made in the field. The second one, a throwing error. And you could just tell the body language of the Spartans is just down after these plays. And you just, as a team, you have to be able to bounce back as you did at the top of the second inning, Aiden. You can't let yourself get behind mentally.
Back to the top of the order we go. Bauer Burkhardt shows bunt as a falling fastball at the knees of the catcher McLaughlin. And a 1-0 count for Burkhardt. He got the day going with a bang, a leadoff single, and was later scored in that 3-spot Tuscarora put up in the bottom of the first. Kozakowski, the runner at first, checkup comes, not in time. The defense has done a bit of the heavy lifting for the Spartans throughout the season. And you look at both teams as another checkup comes to first, not in time as well, diving back on the bag is Kozakowski. And you look at both teams, we talk about how similar they are. It's consistent inconsistency.
I couldn't have said it better myself, and there's a perfect way to put it. One thing that's been consistent for these Tuscarora Huskies, we harped on a little bit in the bottom of the first inning, has been their top of the order. And Kozakowski on first base, you got to think the Tuscarora Huskies, the way this top of the order performed in the bottom of the first, they just got to continue that trajectory into this inning, and it could be very dangerous. Obviously, facing a new pitcher in Young, Reiner obviously was the pitcher to start the game for the Spartans, but still, the same concept holds true.
As a breaking ball nearly got a piece of Burkhardt, and then a check up to first, unsuccessful yet again. A 2-0, swing and a miss for Burkhardt, yields strike one.
It almost looked like a golf swing from Bauer Burkhardt, very vertical with his swing. I was chirping him before. Bauer Burkhardt, $20 a hole, whenever.
Here comes a fourth checkup attempt to first, yet again not in time. And you think about, as the major leagues are trying to kind of speed up the game now, that's become a topic of discussion, how many instances you get to check up at first. As a 2-1, check swing is not in time. Here comes a throw down to second, off the plate, and safe is Kozakowski. Give him a stolen base.
Did that hit the plate or Kozakowski's foot? It was a close one right there.
Well, if we were playing in the old days, it hits his foot, then we've got an out.
Don't hate that rule.
As the check swing didn't come from Burkhardt, it did find the zone. They call it strike two, so a 2-2 count for him. Runner on at second is Kozakowski with one out down. Swave and a miss. It's a drop third strike. Did he get the tag? No, but the throw to first is in time.
And again, Burkhardt just needs to level out that swing as that ball comes across the plate, Aiden. Just a little bit late behind it. And honestly, he could have been even on time, but his swing just so vertical up and down. Tough to make contact with it. And Burkhardt, a great hitter, 352 on the season, committed to Marshall. A great arm and a great bat for the Tuscarora Huskies. Just something to think about moving forward.
So the quick recognition by McLaughlin yields Young his second K of the day, his second, both coming this inning, mind you. Cole Keel back to bat as that one off the plate as well, stomped by the right knee of McLaughlin, and he's done a good job keeping him in front of him so far today.
Yeah, he did an excellent job on the 17th at the same ballpark, Aiden, especially with some of their pitchers have been shaky out the gate. Obviously, these aren't their aces. This is the second game of the playoffs. The aces would have pitched on Monday. So as you get deeper in the order, the job for the battery gets harder and harder and harder.
As Keel calls time with the 1-0 count, and we were talking about just briefly the changes being made to the major league system to try and speed it up. The number of times you can check first is one. Of course, the pitch clock
Timeouts
has been the big one as that ball sinks below the zone, and a 2-0 count was right across the plate, a 2-0 count for number 2. And getting rid of the shift has been another big one. But again, the most controversial of them all has been the pitch clock.
Yeah, I still think, Aiden, my take is I love the pitch clock. Needs to be shut off in the 9th inning. Because how would you feel if it's Game 7 of the World Series and you lose on a pitch clock violation?
As Keel, a grounder that got past the third baseman. In to score. Here comes the throw. It's cut off Michael Kosakowski scores as Kiel just squeaked one past the third baseman.
Now batting number 22,
And to finish my my thought, Aiden, before we were rudely interrupted by that RBI single from Cole Kiel, I like the pitch clock. However, I think there needs to be some rules backed up, especially later in innings and extra innings. And in certain situations, you just rather the game be decided by the play, not the rule book.
Braden Kelman back to the dish. Walked his first at-bat today. Curveball in the bucket, strike one, an 0-1 count to him. So we go back to that previous play. Cole Kiel, it looked like Kyle Reiner, the third baseman, was going to have an easy play of it, but just got past him. One of those instances where either the ball just phased through him or someone needs to check his glove for a hole.
And back to what you were saying, Ronan, about the importance of Kosakowski being at that bottom of the batting order. It just explained itself right there on the field.
Yep, and obviously couldn't do it without Cole Kiel and company, but those guys at the top of the order, elite at the dish, and obviously if you're able to get on base in front of them, it does wonders for your offense.
An 0-2 pitch that bounces off the knee pads of McLaughlin creates ball one for Braden Kelman. A 1-2 count for him. It was an 0-1 count, then a hard swing and a miss on pitch two. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A curveball that curves too low. 2-2 count now for number 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs as that Cole Kiel RBI makes it a 4-2 Tuscarora advantage. So they do get one back in the bottom of the second, which is kind of what you were hoping for. At least get something back. Don't have to get the full 3 runs, but everything helps as that one flared right into the waiting glove of Andrew Market, and that is how a wild second inning comes to an end. Broad run placed 2 in the top of the second, but Tuscarora responds with 1 in the bottom of it. 1 runner left on for Tuscarora. 4-2, they lead after a full 2 innings. We bring you back to action here. The top of the third, Cole Kiel back to work on the bump for Tuscarora after bringing across their lone run in the bottom of the second. Andrew Market, who's already had himself an interesting day, both at bat and playing the field, will lead off the top of the third. 0 for 0 today is Market after a 2-out walk in the first inning. Kiel gonna kick and fire as trying to carve the plate, but to no avail. Too far away from Market and a 1-0 count.
And Aiden, Cole Kiel has got to get his number 1 breaking ball, that curveball working, in this one, or these Broad Run Spartans hitters are going to start to feel him up and time him out.
As a 1-0, you bring up that curveball and in the bucket for strike one.
It's just so effective for him, especially against right-handed batters. That 12-6 drop just does such a great job.
1-1 count. Down the hatch, strike two. Same pitch, same result.
And it just freezes batters, Aiden, because Kiel doesn't have the velo that a lot of elite pitchers have in this district, Aiden, but he makes up for it with that breaking ball. And when that's not firing for him, it's a tough day on the mound, and I'd love to see him get back into this one early.
As a 1-2, he goes to a fastball there, but off the legs of Kelman, makes it a 2-2 count. Cole Kiel, his third inning of work still has yet to register a strikeout today. As he winds up and fires, goes back to that same sinking fastball, and it's a 3-2 count.
And that's his bread and butter, Aiden, is that soft contact and making his defense work for it. When you got two commits in the middle of the infield, you could get away with that.
Payoff pitch, a curveball that does not find the zone. Market stays true on his check, and he's got his second walk of the day. And that's something you really don't want as a pitcher is the free passes.
Exactly, especially with two great pitches to start off that at bat and just faltering later in. It's frustrating for anyone.
John Ryan shows bunt, but the fastball right down Main Street, strike one.
And just a little update, the max preps is not correct so far. For the Dominion Heritage game, the Heritage Pride are up 3-1. Still trying to figure out the inning, but it looks like whoever, as of right now, it looks like whoever wins this game will face the Pride.
An 0-1 count for number one, and John Ryan also walked his last at-bat, showed bunt. Here comes the throw down to second. It's there! Andrew Market caught in the act of theft. The Huskies have gone to it already a couple times today, but finally it bears a very rich fruit for the first out of the inning.
And that's just an amazing throw from the Frederick Community College catcher, Braden Kelman. A great addition, came to Tuscarora just last year in his second year now as a senior for the Tuscarora Huskies. Has just been excellent both offensively and behind the plate. And him and Kiel, that battery matchup has been excellent.
As Ryan knocks that one into foul territory, giving chase, and a misread by Kozakowski. Would have yielded out. Number two just overran the ball. It will go down as strike two, but you kind of prefer the out there.
Yeah, it just came off the end of the bat. Weird. Kozakowski, definitely not the slowest guy by any means. On that one, just too fast for his own good. Obviously making the misread. Overran it. Realized he overran it. Had to go back across to the left hand and just unable to come away with it.
As Q will call time on the 1-2 count to Ryan. I'm going to go back to that caught stolen play by Market a couple times when Tuscarora they've gone with that throw down to second. It's been off the plate to the left as that one is golfed into just right of center. So a one-out single by John Ryan puts a base runner right back on for the Spartans. But I like how Kelman recognized how that was an issue and made the adjustment. He took a couple extra steps to his left to deliver the throw to the shortstop Burkhart.
And I'll tell you one thing, Aiden, those JUCO coaches up at Frederick Community College are going to love that. Kelman, a very coachable kid, and that's the ticket for success for a lot of collegiate athletes.
As McConnell on now as he rolls that one right to short. Play to second is there. Here comes the throw to first. Not in time. Gets away from McIntosh, but it will be out number two. As Pete McConnell makes himself 0 for 2 today. Rolled it right towards Burkhart. An easy flip to second, but the throw off at first.
Yeah, not sure if that was on Burkhart or McIntosh. McIntosh didn't seem to go too far off the plate.
So Ryan out at second on the fielder's choice. McConnell does reach. He's at first now. Misread the situation. For some reason, my mind registered that McConnell was the one tapped out. But we go to Kyle Reiner now, who was the starting pitcher for the day, now finds himself at third base. 2 outs down in the top of the third. Kiel finds the zone, strike one. Reiner is 0 for 1 today, grounded out to start the second inning where he led off. Keel, check up at first. Nowhere in time. Still an 0-1 count to Reiner with 2 outs. Keel kicks, deals as that one's going to be popped up. Is there a play there? And right at the fence. Oh, and Kelman couldn't come down with it, just like his teammate Kosakowski in left field. Similar play, just popped up into foul territory, but just overran the ball.
Yeah, just the backspin coming off that foul ball, Aiden. It's just, we haven't seen too many plays made like that here at Tuscarora. Just the way that it's laid out, the sun behind you as well as the hill behind you. It's a tough backstop to see, especially when it gets straight up on you. And this overcast tonight, certainly doing the fielders no help.
Does make it an 0-2 count for Kyle Reiner. Keel winds up and deals. That one bounces. Looks like it was either off the plate or off the foot of Kelman. It's an easy jog into second for McConnell on the wild pitch.
Looked like a miscommunication between the two, Aiden, as Kelman was set up for the fastball, and it was not a bad pitch down the inside.
So a 1-2 count for Kyle Reiner. 2 outs down. Keel looking to blank the Spartans in the top of the third. Glances back at second, kicks, fires. It's there. Called strike 3. Got him looking. The first K of the day for Cole Keel.
And Cole Keel heating up throughout this one, Aiden. We saw a little sketchy in the top of the first inning, but has since locked in, got himself out of a couple jams here, and just wheeling and dealing for the Tuscarora Huskies. If you're wearing black and blue at the ballpark today, you just got to love to see it.
No runs, 1 hit for the Spartans, but one man left stranded. They're blanked in the top of the third. Tuscarora looking to add to their 4-2 advantage. Middle of the third here from Tuscarora. We're back at it for the home side of the third as Isaac McIntosh will start the party for Tuscarora in the bottom of the third. Reached on an error his first at-bat, did yield a run. As that one tipped off the end of the bat, fouled off to the right, an 0-1 count for McIntosh. Young will wind up and fire a curveball that's swung on and lofted foul yet again. Make it an 0-2 count for McIntosh.
And McIntosh has been pretty good in that 4 slot for the Tuscarora Huskies. 288 on the year, so not as high as that top 3. One of the lower guys on the top of this order, top half of the order, excuse me.
As an 0-2 curveball that's tipped off foul. Looked like it would have been... Got ahead of it, potentially curving back in, so he stays alive at the plate on the third foul ball of this at-bat.
And again, just we're seeing exactly what I was about to say. McIntosh does a great job of fighting in these at-bats, has good plate discipline, and just takes care of business.
As the 0-2 is popped up and right at the doorstep and over the Broad Run dugout, so McIntosh staying alive. They've all been fouled off, and still an 0-2 count.
And he's just a little bit late on those last 2, Aiden. That last one especially hit well, just again over that right field dugout.
Fifth pitch of the at-bat, a curveball that is going to be fouled off yet again. 5 pitches McIntosh has faced in this battle, all 5 fouled off.
I mean, he's wearing down Young out there, so I'm not complaining.
At the very least, you think he's driving up the pitch count, as that one is through the gap at third. McIntosh wins that battle, and he'll hold up at first. A leadoff single for Isaac McIntosh.
And if that doesn't get the boys fired up in the dugout, I don't know what does, Aiden. 6 fastballs straight. 5 went right. The one, obviously, that found the field of play went left, and Isaac McIntosh going to walk to first base, and you could just feel the sigh of relief from him.
So 1 runner on for Tuscarora as Connor Quill backed it to it. And an RBI single back in the first, as lets that pitch be and comes to rest at his feet. A 1-0 count for Quill.
And Quill, in that second half of the season, the freshman Virginia Tech commit has been a little bit of slump towards the end of the season, starting to heat back up here in the playoffs, and just a perfect time for the Tuscarora lineup to get hot.
McIntosh a short leadoff at first. Young trying to keep him honest. Throw is not in time. Still a 1-0 count to Connor Quill. Here comes the throw again, not in time as well. A little closer, but still a few milliseconds too late. Young looks that direction yet again. He winds up and fires, so that one's going to be fouled off into the fencing by Quill for strike 1 and a 1-1 count. Still no outs with runner on at first for Tuscarora. And partner, if people who have listened to us long enough, they know when we get into common basketball, we harped on so often how a shot clock was needed, as Quill lofts that one into right, but it is gloved on the back hop by Hulcher, and McIntosh will stay at first. 1 out down in the bottom of the third.
Yeah, and my thing is, MLB just added in the shot clock, in the pitch clock. I think the NBA's had the shot clock for the better part of 30 years, and we still don't have it in Virginia high school.
I was more so referring to the checkup attempts.
That's what I was saying, and I was going to say, the MLB just got the pitch clock. It's going to be at least 30 years before we can even think about getting it for high school baseball in this state.
As another ball that finds the coarse, rough, irritating sand, and it's a 1-0 count for Jimmy Domingue. With 1 out down, Young kicks, fires, Domingue fouls that one off on a hop. That one does greet the Broad Run dugout. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out for Domingue. The center fielder grounded out into a double play back in the first. The 1-1 just on the fringe of the plate for strike 2.
And Domingue just needs to swing on that one, Aiden. That's his pitch he's waiting for. He's just got to push that opposite field.
McIntosh still at first as Domingue fouls that one off the end of his bat up into the left. Well, foul. No one's going to have a chance at that one. Staying alive in the 1-2 count, and we talked about it with McIntosh at the plate before he did single through the left field gap. At the very least, you're fighting these at-bats. You're driving up Young's pitch count. Number 7 in black, gray, gold as Domingue skies that one into left field where the play is made by Cooper Lee, and 2 outs down.
How about number 4, Nick Sheehan?
And earlier, it's weird how Tuscarora works because, like you were saying earlier, Ronan, how they were heating up. It's almost like they get in like a little stalemate just for a few bottoms of innings, like around the 3rd and the 4th. But then later on in the game, they seem to heat up back again. It's bizarre how it works, but it gets the job done.
Cutting pitch from Young is well down and away from the right-handed Sheehan. McIntosh has had enough time to claim residency at first base. A pitch down and in, a 2-0 count for Nick Sheehan.
Does he get in-state tuition, Aiden?
It's a very good question. Heading the count 2-0 is Sheehan. Make that ahead 3-0. Same pitch that Young started with in the first pitch against Sheehan. Again, off the plate. And a 3-0 hitters count for number 4 in black and blue, Nick Sheehan. I have to imagine McIntosh is looking at his teammate saying, give me something, I'm getting antsy over here. 3-0 on a frozen rope inside and a 4-pitch walk for Nick Sheehan.
Well, now McIntosh now gets to walk to another another base, Aiden, helping him out a little bit.
Wonder how much profit he flipped first for. Ashton Peschke, the designated hitter, steps back to the dish. 0 for 1 today. Struck out to start the second inning. 2 runners on for Tuscarora now. Curveball. Fell below the zone from the looks of it, and a 1-0 count for Peschke. McIntosh now at second, and Sheehan finds himself at first. 4-2 Tuscarora continues to lead with 2 outs down. Young lets it fly. Another one that falls below the zone and a 2-0 count. And that'll spur a conversation between catcher and coach with Thomas Young here.
And I wonder if they're going to make another change at whoever is on the mound. Because, like, last time we saw these teams play, was it 3 pitchers running? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I believe it might have been 4, Sean.
Yeah.
We saw Mitchell Young, Kyle Reiner, and John Ryan 100%. Definitely had 3, may have been 4. But I just don't think Broad Run has the pitching staff to go any deeper into this bullpen until we get it to the least the 4th or 5th inning.
It's my line of thought, indeed. We're not even halfway through this one. A 2-0, another one that drifts below the zone. That one had some heat on it, but still not in the box. 3-0. The count, a chance to potentially load the bases here for Tuscarora.
Well, and when you're throwing that fastball as a pitcher and you're spraying it all over the place, it just comes down to fatigue. And I think that's what's coming up for Thomas Young here at the plate. Excuse me.
He has had some lengthy at-bats. Another 4-pitch walk.
Now batting number 21, Michael
And now,
Kazakowski.
as Michael Kazakowski steps to the dish, bases primed and loaded for Tuscarora, but the caveat is 2 outs down. It looks like this could be the end of Thomas Young's day now. And it is just that.
I'm interested to see who will come in here. Obviously, Mitchell Young, number 20 in center field. His brother is a possibility. Looks like it's going to be, you catch that number, Aiden?
It looks like we could get
It is
will
number
be Mitchell
20.
Young, the leadoff man and who started his day at center field for the Spartans. So Thomas Young stabilized the Broad Run pitching after a hot start from Tuscarora. Only 1 earned run for Thomas Young, 2 strikeouts to his credit as well. Over just over 2 innings of work. So we'll step aside for the moment. When we come back, we'll have the remainder of the bottom of the third between Tuscarora and Broad Run. Huskies lead 4-2. We bring you back to the bottom of the third. New pitcher on the bump for the Spartans as the Youngs trade place. Thomas Young will take up residence in center field. Mitchell moves up to the pitcher's bump. Bases locked and loaded for Michael Kozakowski with 2 outs down here in the bottom of the third. McIntosh at third, Sheehan at second, and Peschke at first. Kozakowski reached on an E6 his first at-bat of the day. Mitchell Young looking to restore some semblance of order in the third. Fires a falling fastball that gets the bottom of the zone, strike one.
And Kozakowski, if he could manage to get on base, bringing up Bauer Burkhart leading off, just a dream scenario. Bases loaded, get an extra run in, and then you have probably your best bat in terms of OPS at the dish.
The 0-1, a hard cut and a miss. He wanted that one in an 0-2 count. Big opportunity for Mitchell Young to get out of the third inning without surrendering any damage. Oh-2 count, Kozakowski. Young kicks, delivers. That one is going to get through the left field gap. Run will score. Sheehan coming in behind McIntosh, and he's in standing up. A 2 RBI single, courtesy of Michael Kozakowski.
And you can hear, the 0-2 yells coming from the Tuscarora dugout as Kozakowski made it over to first base, and that's just a big piece of hitting for the sophomore.
Peschke pushed into second. McIntosh and Sheehan both score, and it's now a 6-3 ball game for Tuscarora. And back to the top of the order comes Bauer Burkhart. Mitchell Young kicks, fires. Breaking ball that gets the far wall of the plate, strike one.
And that's just such a tough spot to come in for Mitchell Young. Bases loaded, one of Tuscarora's better hitters up to the dish, gets ahead 0-2. That's just a huge switch in momentum for the Tuscarora Huskies.
Goes to a similar pitch, 0-1, becomes a 1-1 to Bauer Burkhart. Peschke, the runner, in scoring position at second.
And one thing you have to love what you're seeing right now is how different these Tuscarora Huskies looked in the regular season. They're just playing with more animosity and trying to just, I can't even explain it, but the way they're playing has been outstanding. And where other teams almost start to do worse, they do better.
See you, Bauer.
I may have misspoke. It's a 6-2 advantage for Tuscarora as Burkhart put a 1-1 delivery in the infield but bounced off to the right for a foul ball, a 1-2 count for him. Young, as that one sent careening into the fence, will stay a 1-2 count for Burkhart. 6-2 Tuscarora leads, 2 outs down when those 2 runs were brought across.
And Burkhart does a great job making contact in, but also has the power to get it far out into the outfield and over the fence. We saw that this season. The perfect happy medium for any batter.
As he is 1 for 2 today. As that pitch down and away. Another nice block by McLaughlin. Makes it a 2-2 count for Burkhart. Had a leadoff single in the first, then struck out in the second. Tuscarora with their largest lead of the day in 4 runs. Swing and a miss, drop third strike, but Burkhart stumbled trying to get back up. Mitchell Young does get out of a bit of a pinch with his first strikeout of the evening. But Tuscarora, they plate 2, and they lead at 6-2 after a full 3. We bring you back for the fourth inning of the evening's proceedings from Tuscarora High School in Leesburg, Virginia. Jackson Holcher, the right fielder, is 1 for 1 today, will lead off for the Spartans. Cole Keel, will clock in for his fourth inning at the office today. Tuscarora now with a 6-2 advantage after Kazakowski plated 2 in the bottom of the third. Keel kicks, delivers, strike 1.
And Keel started to heat up in that third inning, Aiden, ended it with a strikeout, and you just love to see him continue that same trajectory.
Curveball sidearm from Keel, and a strike 2 is called. Down on the count is Holcher. 0-2 delivery. Went to that curveball again. Nearly gave Holcher a new haircut. And it's a 1-2 count. Keel kicks. Fires that one. Takes a bounce and over the head of the catcher Kelman. Counts now 2-2. Now the big piece from Holcher, the ability to battle back and potentially make something of this at-bat. Just off the plate. Called ball 3. I think Keel a little displeased with that ruling, and it's now a full count after he was ahead 0-2.
Extremely displeased, Aiden. Not too many times that Cole Keel will ever show his emotions, but that was certainly one of them.
Payoff pitch well off the plate. And a big-time walk from Holcher, and he's letting him hear it.
Number 12, Cooper Lee.
And Cole Keel just needs to show a little bit of composure here, settle down.
Talk to him, Braden.
So Cooper Lee back to the dish. His second at-bat of the day is 1 for 1 at an RBI single back in the second. Single that scored his teammate Jackson Holcher. Mind you, it's a winner-go-home situation for either team here in the Dulles District semifinals. There's another curveball that nearly got a piece of Lee. Backed out of the way, and it's a 1-0 count for him. Barney, you talk about that composure. See how it comes through for Keel here. Curveball is lofted, playable, into shallow center. Domingue up to make the play, and 1 out down.
And you just got to go back to the bread and butter for Cole Keel in this situation. You got to get that curveball working again. We saw him in that top of the third inning, Aiden. That curveball started to work. Obviously, gave up the walk early to mark it, but able to battle that back. Ended with a strikeout. And he just needs to go back to that curveball, get it working again, because otherwise you're almost down to your third way through the order. For Cole Keel. They're going to start to time up that fastball pretty well.
As Young rolls that one to second, throw to first. What's the call? Safe. So the Huskies cannot turn the double play, and Keel frustrated at the results yet again. But Thomas Young, a roller on the curveball right towards Burkhart, the shortstop, and got the tag at second.
I just don't get that call, Aiden, if I'm being completely honest. Every single person except for the first base umpire was moving in their respective positions as if the inning was over. The third base coach for the Broad Run Spartans moving across the diamond. Everybody in the outfield for the Tuscarora Huskies moving into the dugout.
As a curveball by Mitchell Young, fielded at third. This throw to first is in time. No doubt about that one. A cross diamond throw. Connor Quill teams up with McIntosh for that one. And a quick inning in the top of the fourth. Spartans leave one man stranded, no hits, no errors, and Huskies looking to add to their 6-2 lead in the bottom of the fourth.
You know what they say, Aiden? Ball does not lie.
We're halfway through it in this one as we head to the bottom of the fourth. Cole Keel to lead off here. The pitcher on pitcher violence going against Mitchell Young.
And Keel now, with those last two at-bats for him, well above that 500 limit on the OBP. So at this point, Keel is, I don't want to jinx him, is pretty much shooing to get on base.
He is 2 for 2 today, both singles. And speak of the devil, and it shall appear, lofted in the shallow right, rounds first, and he's going to gamble for second, slides in safe, a leadoff double for Cole Keel. He's 3 for 3 today.
And Cole Keel is such an excellent two-way player for the Tuscarora Huskies. 450 on the batting average, 2.17 on the ERA. He hits over 200% better than the batters he faces, to put it into perspective for those at home.
So the runner on, and Keel now in scoring position as Braden Kelman back to the dish. He's 0 for 1 today. Walked his first at bat, grounded out in his second. Young and a hard swing and a miss. Kelman reached on that one, and it looks like he knows it.
That's one. Well, sorry to cut you off, Sean. One of Kelman's biggest improvements from last year, his junior campaign, Aiden, has been that plate discipline. He's really locked it in this year, and that's why we've seen him move up from that 5 spot he was last year to the 3.
Keel, a strong leadoff at second, trying to play with Young. Gets caught between a rock and a hard place. That one not poked through the gap, but Keel will reach third. Oh, he was off, dove back on, he's called out. Another wild sequence as Kelman poked it towards third. It was a great block by Sullivan at shortstop. Keel got caught rounding third, tried to dive back on it, and the throw there was made in time.
And that's just great awareness by Peter McConnell at short, just noticing that Keel was just a few too many paces off that third base bag and made the throw and made the play.
So 1 out down. What would have been runners on the corners is now just 1 runner on at first. As Trip Bracken in the pinch runner for Kelman. Checkup attempt is not in time. Isaac McIntosh back to it. Had a lengthy at-bat his last time up. And wouldn't you know it, he fouls this one off up into the right.
Oh, no, here we go again, Aiden.
Can the other Young make quicker work of McIntosh? An 0-1 count with 1 out down, 1 runner on at first. Again, Bracken, the pinch runner. Mitchell Young, a tip of the cap, throws to first, and pick is not there. Young looks that direction yet again. Tips the cap, as that one does get away from the catcher, and Bracken is into second standing up on the wild pitch.
And that's what benefits the Tuscarora Huskies so much, is just their ability to fight into these games and get those extra bases, because those extra bases, Aiden, turn into extra runs for this team. And just the awareness of Trip Bracken, obviously a mistake from the Spartans, but to have the mindset to know and to when to take advantage of those situations is just so important for this Tuscarora team.
As a rainbowing curveball pulls McLaughlin to his right, and it's a 2-1 count for McIntosh now. Bracken giving himself a strong leadoff at second. As that one was poked through the gap, this time the left field gap, and Bracken will hold up at third. And a 1-out single for Isaac McIntosh, and runners on the corners.
Number 9, Connor Quill.
And back to what you were saying, Ronan, about their ability to get on base. What makes them excel at it even more is the fact that they can string together those instances when they all get on base at the same time and able to put 6 runs on the board.
Connor Quill back to it. He was 1 for 2 today. Bracken at third, McIntosh at first, only 1 out. Quill shows bunt. And it looks like time is called. Strong short leadoff for McIntosh as McLaughlin has to take the express elevator up on that one to keep that one in front of him. Otherwise, Bracken's likely coming in to score from third. 1-0 count for Connor Quill. Mitchell Young looking towards first yet again. Kicks, deals. Curveball that just a hair inside, and it's a 2-0 count.
It was a good sell from Quill there. A little bit of Derek Jeter turned the shoulder on a surefire strike down the inside.
He's ahead 2-0. The 2-0 delivery, same pitch, near same result, exactly like you said. And Quill may have the green light here. He's ahead 3-0.
And you just got to love that high IQ from a freshman, nonetheless, Aiden, of knowing when at each at-bat, playing that cat and mouse, knowing the umpire standing behind you, what his tendencies have been throughout the game, and works himself a walk with it.
An emphatic bat flip at that as Connor Quill with the walk, and the bases loaded yet again. Seen that a couple times from the Huskies tonight, but can they continue to take advantage of it is the big question.
In the last 3 games, the Tuscarora Huskies have loaded the bases a total of 5 times. The Tuscarora Huskies doing an excellent job getting on base, and the batting averages just speak for it. These OBP speak for it. Almost everybody except for 3 batters in this lineup are above 300, and those guys in the 200s are at 288, 286, and 235.
As Domingue nearly hacked at it, but a fastball that's right down the middle, and an 0-1 count for Domingue. Bracken at third, McIntosh at second, and Quill at first. We're going to add to this 6-2 advantage in the bottom of the fourth as Domingue fouls that one off the barrel of the bat and finds himself behind 0-2. Tuscarora has managed to take advantage of the bases loaded situation a couple times tonight. Only 1 out down, so not all lost if Domingue goes down in this at-bat as he does so on a hard wave and a miss.
Now batting number 4,
Second
Nick
strikeout
Sheehan.
for Mitchell Young's evening. And that will bring up Nick Sheehan, who is 0 for 1 today, flew out in the first, walked his last at-bat. I think it'd be big for momentum if the Spartans can blank Tuscarora in the bottom of the fourth, leave the bases loaded as that ball careens high and inside. Slight back off by Sheehan, a 1-0 count for him.
And one thing for Sheehan, just you can't chase here. Young already given up a pair of walks, in this inning. Just got to have good plate discipline and try to work something out.
As a 2-seamer comes to rest at the bottom of the zone, and a 1-1 count now for Sheehan. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, bases primed and loaded for Nick Sheehan. Mitchell Young gonna wind and fire. Sheehan gulps that one to third, and all he has to do is step on the bag, Kyle Reiner, and you have to think a missed opportunity as Tuscarora leaves the bases loaded, all 3 men stranded. Did yield 2 hits that inning, but ultimately couldn't take advantage. Still 6-2 after a full 4 here from Tuscarora High School in Leesburg, Virginia. As we bring you into the top of the 5th inning, Finley Sullivan to lead off for the Spartans. His third at bat of the evening, flew out in his first, and then just his second, I just left a question mark. Cole Keel checks in for the 5th time today.
We're wondering when we're going to see Bauer Burkhart come in from shortstop. Hopefully for Keel, he can get out of this inning and just leave 2 for Burkhart to take over.
Keel winds and fires a fastball that goes too low in a 1-0 count.
And also on the flip side, in the 6-2, you might want to save Bauer Burkhart for the Friday. Obviously on a 2-day rest, you could come in per the rules, but still, Burkhart definitely needs some rest here and there, so interesting to see what Cole Shane and the coaching staff will come up with here.
As a curveball sinks too low, he goes to it a second time this at-bat, same pitch, same result, and Finley Sullivan finds himself ahead 3-0. Keel kicks, fires, fastball off the plate in a 4-pitch walk.
Now batting number 22, Andrew Market.
For Sullivan. Base runner on is Andrew Market back to the plate for the Spartans.
And just Keel has struggled all day with those lefties, Aiden. Obviously, driving those curveballs in, hoping to get some swings on those low down inside on those lefty batters like Sullivan. Just not getting his calls the way he wants them, not getting the swings he normally does.
As it's been 5 straight balls pitched to start this inning for Cole Keel and a 1-0 count for Andrew Market, who's walked both at bats today. Goes to the curveball. That one is off the plate away from Market.
Brady, talk to him.
As Cole Keel tried now to have a conversation with his catcher, Braden Kelman. Has been 6 straight balls to start this inning.
Yeah, just not a good sign to be shown from Cole Keel. Honestly, you're kind of hoping he can maybe get 6, 7 here at the best case scenario, and to start to fizzle out here at the top of the 5th inning. Not the best spot you want to be in for the Tuscarora Huskies, but hopefully Keel will be able to do what he does best and get himself out of the jams he's put himself in.
Of course, a big opportunity for the Spartans to potentially, at the very least, set guys up to potentially eat into the 4-run deficit. As a 2-0 finally gets a strike 1 call, and it's 2-1 for Market.
And that's what Keel has to do, is slow down, show some composure, calm down, and just find the zone.
2-1, 2-2, same pitch, same result. As Keel has battled back to make it. Deuce's wild count, looks over his shoulder to first. No move to pick off as that one sent up the gut. Second is there, throw to first, off the plate. As Kelman running all the way from his catcher spot to make sure McDonald stays put at first. So Sullivan out on the 4-6 fielder's choice.
And it was a good idea there from Drew Meaden, the Bluefield College commit, coming across at second base, stepped on the bag, made the throw over to McIntosh at first, and just a little errant on the throw, unable to secure the double play.
And the opportunity's been there a couple times tonight for Tuscarora. It's just the throw to first has always been either off target or just not there in time, as Ryan flares one up into the left foul. The left-handed hitter finds himself in an early 0-1 gutter.
And I do have reports that Heritage is up 4-1 in the top of the 7th inning. So pretty.
So Heritage just a few outs away from closing that one. Over on the other side of Leesburg, just on the other side of Route 7.
As same play, same result. Control copy, control pace for John Ryan. Another pitch that he flares up into the left near the exact same spot. Finds himself down on the count 0-2. Broad Run trails Tuscarora 6-2 here.
And this is Keel's, bread and butter, that weak contact.
As Ryan fouls that one off into the fence and maybe trying to mimic Isaac McIntosh, seeing what he did earlier. All three fouled off by Ryan as he's going to look towards the dugout. It looks like McDonald may be a bit shaken up as he walks off first and towards the fence on the opposite side of the Broad Run dugout. Looks like they're going to bring in a potential. Nope, it looks like Market, whatever he had, just had to walk it off as he steps back to the first base bag. That's good to see, but you don't normally see something like that as Ryan started looking down the first base line, and all of a sudden it's just Market walking off to the fence.
Not sure what's going on with there, but Keel up to 71 pitches. So been pretty efficient thus far. From what we're being told up here in the booth is Market got hit by the foul ball. Oh, by the double play, excuse me. So a little shaken up. That's in our blind spot in the booth, Aiden. We both didn't have view of that one up the first baseline.
0-2 count for Ryan with one out down. Curveball up and away. And a 1-2 count. Seems a fastball, come to think of it. Short leadoff for Market as Ryan, that one's going to stay fair. Golf towards first, and nope, they're going to say foul. Do they call it fair or foul? I can't tell. As they're gonna maybe talk about this one. It looked foul to me. It painted the first base line perfectly right towards the waiting glove of McIntosh. We're gonna get a conversation with the umpires. Can't get a video review here at like maybe at other levels of play, but I don't know. I think that looks fair all the way to me. Oh, they're saying it may have hit his foot. It's Keel and Ryan both talking it over, and they're going to call him out. So they're going to call that a ground out to first. Market does advance to second. And McIntosh looked like he wanted to throw to second, potentially turn another double play. Instead, it will be 2 outs down with Market in scoring position at second. So on steps the right-handed hitter, Pete McConnell. McConnell reached on a fielder's choice at last at bat, grounded out his first, strike one on the first offering from Cole Keel. Oh, 1 count, two outs, pardon me. Strong leadoff for Market at second as that one. Oh, a diving stop. Long throw to first by Burkhart. It's there. Diving stop just on the doorstep of the outfield by Burkhart, and a laser thrown to first.
And a highlight reel play from the senior. And Aiden, after seeing that one, do you have to really ask the question of why he's committed to play Division I baseball? I mean, athletic play, going across to his right, making the grab, and then sailing it. And that was Isaac McIntosh didn't have to do too much at first base, just reach up above his head and collect that one.
Kind of like in the Sandlot where Benny tells Smalls, it's just like, just put up your glove, I'll take care of the rest. One runner left stranded by the Spartans in the top of the fifth. No hits, no errors either way, no runs, importantly for Tuscarora. They lead at 6-2 heading into the home side of the fifth. March to the bottom of the 5th. Ashton Peschke to lead off for Tuscarora. Tuscarora has not managed to bring anyone across since the 3rd. As that ball greets the doorstep of the zone for strike 1.
And this is a great position for the Tuscarora Huskies to be in. And these 8-9 hitters that have been a good spark plug for the Tuscarora Huskies in these big innings. Bringing up the top of the order, if the 8 Peschke or the 9 Kozakowski can get on base here and bring up that top of the order, the Tuscarora Huskies can look to run away with this one. And most importantly, have the cushion to save Bauer Burkhart, their closer, for Friday. And if you have both Brendan Cowan and Bauer Burkhart in that district championship game against Heritage, as a Tuscarora Husky fan, you got to like your odds just that little bit more.
As a breaking ball delivery from Young yielded a 1-1, and then a swing and a miss by Peschke makes it a 1-2. As Q managed to settle in, looks like Young has gotten in a little bit more of a groove from when he came in. And a hard cut and a miss by Peschke.
Now batting number 21, Michael Kozakowski.
Second strikeout for Mitchell Young today.
And
check that, his 3rd strikeout of the day.
And to be fair, Aiden, if you're looking at Mitchell Young, he came in, those runs that he gave up, 2 of those weren't his. So you just got to think for Mitchell Young, he's done a pretty good job of fighting through this game, and obviously being the 3rd pitcher in 3 innings that the Spartans had to put up there. He's done a pretty good job of steadying the ship for the Spartans. That offense just needs to get going again.
Kozakowski on now had a pretty well-received last at-bat, a 2 RBI single back in the 3rd. As he lines this one deep into center, flash of the leather, and the play is made by Thomas Young. And a quick 2 outs down here in the bottom of the 5th.
And that's a little bit of a sigh of relief there for Mitchell Young not to give up a base runner for the top of the order, but still, don't hold your breath, because Bauer Burkhart and Cole Keel certainly could get stuff cooking even with just no outs to give up,
Burkhart on with 2 outs down. He's 1 for 3 today. Has struck out twice. Lone time he's gotten on was a leadoff single way back in the 1st. First pitch is inside. Give him a 1-0 count. Of course, has had himself an efficient day at shortstop as well, as he knocks that one up into the right foul for strike 1. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs for Bauer Burkhart. Still a 6-2 Tuscarora lead. Since the 3rd inning, it's kind of turned into something of a pitcher's duel. Of course, Tuscarora had the bases loaded last inning but couldn't make anything of it as Burkhart lofts one to center. And the play is made on the run, and a tumbling finish at that by Thomas Young. Nifty play for number 7 in the Broad Run black, gold, and gray. And for the first time today, a 1-2-3 inning for either team. 6-2 Tuscarora leads after a full 5. No hits, no runs, no men left on. We take you to the top of the 6th after this As the painting to the picture becomes a little more clear, the Heritage Pride knock off the Dominion Titans. So it is now written in blood that whoever wins here will go on to face Heritage. Bit of a crosstown rival for Tuscarora.
And more importantly, Aiden, whichever team wins this game will get an automatic bid to the regional tournament regardless of the score of that district championship game, as the Heritage Pride won the regular season. So that's why we're seeing Bauer Burkhart on the mound tonight to finish this one out against the Broad Run Spartans versus pushing Kiel or bringing somebody else out of the bullpen to save Burkhart for that district championship game, as it no longer matters. As painful as that is to sound, is to say, excuse me.
Breaking ball off the plate, a 1-0 count for Reiner. Same pitch, same result, and a 2-0 count early for the leadoff man, Kyle Reiner. Leadoff man this inning should specify. 2-0 count. Burkhart kicks, fires, makes the adjustment, a fastball down the pipes for strike one.
And this Kiel-Burkhart combo has proven so potent for the Tuscarora Huskies. That up and velo, that 3-4 miles an hour that Bauer Burkhart gives you, just freezes batters late in these games.
Same pitch, same result for a called strike two. Kind of goes without saying, Cole Kiel took over Burkhart's spot at short. The 2-2 is golfed into shallow left and dies in front of Kozakowski. So Reiner wins that battle in a leadoff single for the Spartans.
Now batting number 24, Jackson Holcher.
And honestly, compared to Kiel, a Burkhart pitch is completely different, going 100% on every single pitch, forcing that velo and getting those strikeouts, versus Kiel, who forces a lot of the weak contact, works the batters, uses multiple pitches. Burkhart, all gas, no brakes.
Jackson Holcher, the right fielder, comes out showing bunt, pulls back, falling fastball, falls too far, and a 1-0 count.
I mean, I'm watching that pitch go across the plate, and I sure wouldn't want to bunt.
A right-handed Holcher. That one is going to be skied into shallow right center. Play is made by a sprinting Jimmy Domingue, and there's one out down.
Now batting number 12, Cooper Lee.
Domingue's had himself a nice day in the outfield, as notched a few flyouts, has also served as just great backup on a couple errant throwdowns to second. One out down. Reiner still at first. Next up, Cooper Lee. It's 1 for 2 today. Flew out his last at bat. Dead away to center field as that ball down and away from Lee, and a 1-0 count. As that one's going to be notched and playable into shallow right and grabbed on the run-up. Nick Sheehan puts that one away, and now 2 outs down.
And the way Bauer's starting off this 6th inning is reminding me of the way that Cole started off the 1st inning of today's game, how batters were making easy contact with him, but later and later on we're going to see Bauer have that same change in demeanor as Cole did.
Thomas Young back to the dish with 2 outs down, 1 man on at first. Shows bunt. Doesn't matter. Strike one the call for Burkhart. Young has reached both at bats today, a walk in the 2nd, and then reached on a fielder's choice in the 4th. Finds himself down in the 0-1 count here. Burkhart kicks, fires. That one had some heat on it. Called strike 2. On a wave and a miss, got a piece of the bat, didn't matter, and an 0-2 count for Young. Oh, 2 count with 2 outs down. Bauer Burkhart kicks, fires. Did he get it? No. He was already prancing back to the dugout and come all the way off the mound. It's called ball 1 instead, and a 1-2 count. Decent leadoff at first for a Holcher. Burkhart kicks, fires, wave and a miss. Strike 3 and a frustrated Thomas Young as the Spartans blanked for the 4th straight inning as we head to the middle of the 6th. First man got on with a single, but Reiner's left stranded after that. 3 up, 3 down, 2 flyouts and a strikeout for Burkhart. Efficient work for him, and it's still 6-2 Tuscarora. As we head to the bottom of the 6th, Tuscarora looking for some potential insurance, and this might be the man to do it as Cole Keel will lead it off. Mitchell Young still on the bump for the Spartans as Cole Keel flares that one up into the right for strike 1. And a 0-1 count for him. Despite the inauspicious ending to his last time on base, he is 3 for 3 today, 2 singles and a double. And an RBI as well. Also give him a stolen base back in the 1st. Faces the 0-1 here. Young kicks, delivers. A curveball. Shooting the breeze on Cole Keel and a 1-1 count. 6-2 Tuscarora leads. Looking to, to essentially need it here with how locked down the defense has been since the 2nd as that ball down and away for a 2-1 count. But, it never hurts.
Definitely not, Aiden. The crazier things have happened in sports, that's for sure.
Young, the 2-1 delivery is skied, drifting into center field. The play is made by Thomas Young, and for the first time today, Cole Keel is retired.
And just remarkably, in keeping that streak going, he has not been struck out in conference play. Conference play started at the beginning of April. We're getting into late May. It's almost June.
Braden Kelman back at it for Tuscarora. He has reached twice today. As that ball took the express elevator up, a 1-0 count to Kelman with 1 out down. Young kicks, deals. Kelman, a chopper, fielded on the run up by the shortstop. Play to first is there. Pete McConnell running up to grab that one in the infield, delivers to Market for out number 2.
Number 7, Isaac McIntosh.
Isaac McIntosh back to the plate. He has reached all 3 times today as well. RBI to his credit also. 2 outs down, however, and no men on. Has to make Mitchell Young feel better as a curveball that McIntosh flares into right field. Gloved on a small hop by Jackson Holcher. It's been 6 up, 6 down over the last 2 innings for Tuscarora. No hits, no runs scored, no errors between the 2 clubs, and that will do it for the 6th inning. Tuscarora can put it away in the top of the 7th. We'll see you there. 6-2, Huskies still leading. 6 innings have come and gone here from Tuscarora High School. Do or die for the Broad Run Spartans, as leading off this inning as he led off to start the day, Mitchell Young, the center fielder turned pitcher, will duke it out against Bauer Burkhardt, looking to write an end to this one. A date with the Heritage Pride on the line in this one, as that one's going to be lined down first base, but foul all the way, and an 0-1 count for Mitchell Young. Tuscarora looking to improve to 18-3 on the season, 12-3 in district play. 0-1 count, Burkhardt fires, goes to a curveball, down the hatch, strike 2. 0-2 count. Correction, we'll move to 19-3 on the season. 0-2 count to Mitchell Young. Burkhardt kicks, fires, that one knocked up and away to the right. Will stay in 0-2 count. Young's had a rough go of it at the dish today, 0 for 3. Burkhardt kicks, fires, that one on a roller to Quill at third, throw to first, scooped off the dirt by McIntosh. It's there, a 5-3 punch out of Mitchell Young. And the Spartans now down to only 2 outs to make this one interesting.
Yep, and Burkhardt just been excellent from the dish, excellent from from short, and excellent from the mound all year for the Tuscarora Huskies, sitting just above 1 with the ERA, not even 900 on the whips. Got a save already this season, and he's proven that 1-2 punch from him and Keel has just been electric to watch all year. And watching this continue into the playoffs now with this win, securing a regional regional tournament berth, you're going to see a lot more of Bauer Burkhardt and these Tuscarora Huskies.
As Finley Sullivan tips that one back into the left for an 0-1 count. Wave and a miss, a big one at that for strike 2. And talk about the Tuscarora, I want to talk about this Tuscarora defense. Looked like they could be in for a long day after the Spartans made it a 1-run game in the second inning, but since then they've been near shutdown. It's Burkhardt, the 0-2, another big wave and a miss. And it looks like, it looks like someone got a piece of it, so we'll stay in 0-2 count, presumably.
Foul ball right into the thigh of Kelman. Looks like it.
So Sullivan did get just enough of it, so we'll stay in 0-2 count. As we inch our way towards the end of this one. Broad Run would fall to 10-8 on the year, 8-7 in district play, and unless I'm wrong, would effectively end their season, correct? And Tuscarora second in the district behind Heritage, and nipping at their heels has been the Spartans. This time, it's a wave and a miss for strike 3. Second strikeout of Burkhardt's evening. He's retired the last 5 Spartan hitters. Let the first man he faced, Kyle Reiner, get on in the 6th, but since then, 5 straight outs. So 2 outs down and a 6-2 lead for Tuscarora. It all falls to Andrew Market to keep this one alive. That ball off the plate, waist high against Market. 1-0 count. Burkhardt, high steps, fires a frozen rope, called strike 1.
Just a laser out of that that right hand of Burkhardt. And in this Sun Belt matchup here, Aiden,
Something of a cutting pitch as Market launches that one. It's going to be foul all the way and over the fence. McIntosh giving chase, but either way, strike 2.
Back to what I was saying, though, Aiden, Marshall commit at the mound, James Madison University commit at the dish. You could see this matchup perhaps at the next level.
1-2 count for Market, 2 outs down to have a prayer of extending this game for the Spartans. Team that, as we alluded to in the start of the game, has gotten the better of Tuscarora in the past as time is called.
Actually knocked the Huskies out of the district tournament last year in that semifinal. It was Cole Keel pitching. And with this, I believe...
The 1-2, it's rolled to third. Quill throws to first, easy as you like, and there's your ball game.
And that will be Cole Keel's first win in his high school career within the playoffs, Aiden. These same Broad Run Spartans beat him the sophomore year, and then it was Heritage last year, Aiden. So you got to think going into the district championship game, both teams will obviously not have their season ended over on Evergreen Mill. However, this is a crosstown rivalry, Aiden. These boys got a lot of bragging rights between the two. These schools are very intertwined at the travel ball level. A lot of these guys are teammates, so a lot of bragging rights coming into Friday.
So the Tuscarora Huskies will dance on to face the Heritage Pride in the district championship. And no matter what comes of that game, they're still playing on no matter what.
Exactly, Aiden. It's kind of a weird setup. So via the rules, the regular season winner has an automatic bid to the regional tournament. It just so happens that that number one seeded team normally makes it to the district championship, where the second place team will automatically get a bid as they are the second best team in the district. It was different last year as the Tuscarora Huskies were the number one in the Dulles district, fell in the state semifinals. So then the district tournament was, as it's intended to be, a game for the regional tournament.
Through the first 3 innings, it looked like we were going to get a barn burner. Had 8 combined runs put up between the two teams. But after that, Cole Keel settled in, and Mitchell Young gave the Spartans a fighting chance through the rest of the way.
Yeah, just too little too late, Aiden. You can't dig yourself into that big hole to start off the night. Obviously, like what you just said, Mitchell Young battled it up, only gave up 1 run of his own, but at the end of the day, that score still reads 6-2 for the Huskies. And the Tuscarora Huskies needed that coming in a big statement win. They've been scratching and scraping these wins away towards the second half of the season, and to come away with a solid performance against the Broad Run Spartans will give them some great trajectory going into Friday.
Spartans blanked the 5 remaining innings of the game. Tuscarora across the final 4, but it didn't matter. They did their damage where they needed to, plating 6 across the first 3 innings. Cole Keel, he had himself a good day on the mound and at the plate. He was 3 of 4 on the day. Mitchell Kozakowski, I think big, though, that 2 RBI go-ahead single back in the third to really give the Huskies the boost they needed to kind of coast the rest of the way.
And exactly, their biggest, what we were talking about pregame, Aiden, was can they score with runners in scoring position? And they did just that, and look what the score is, 6-2. You're not having to fight through that 2-0, 2-1, 1-0 victories that leaves you. And loading the bases twice, they still left guys out there. And that just goes to show that these kids can get on base. They just need to get them across the plate.
So still room for improvement before they face the Pride. Broad Run season comes to an end in Leesburg. A one to respect as I lost the wording that I was going to use there, but still a decent season. But they're going to come back better and hungrier next season. But Tuscarora, they play on the final from Tuscarora High School this evening. Tuscarora 6, Broad Run 2. I'm Aiden Butler, joined along by Sean Pambukian and Ronan Haycoop. This has been a presentation of Loudoun County High School Baseball.